never, ever, ever known anything about Warhammer. I do not know Warhammer. I do not do the Warhammer. I know nothing about the Warhammer. And so today, Bricky is gonna teach us all about it. A war for hammer? A hammer for war! Here
As
we
someone
go!
who doesn't necessarily serve the Omnissiah, but someone who can appreciate them, you will not be getting my legs today, as I will be replacing them with various things depending on which faction we are currently talking
Wait,
about. To add a
that's
little
so
bit more context.
good.
You better get the best.
So, hello everybody, my name is Bricky, and this is
Hi,
going to be a
Bricky.
this is, I need 2 hands for this. This is every single Warhammer 40k race in kind of a nutshell, explained, a little bit of explanation, a little bit of lore, a little bit of talking about the tabletop, but mostly lore, what they're all about, and
The
also a
editing
little
on
bit of
this is
background for those of you who
amazing.
just have no clue what Warhammer 40,000 is. Now you see, Warhammer and Warhammer 40,000 is a universe people hear plenty of, but don't know a whole lot about.
Bless him for doing every single race. That is insane.
They see, oh, there's
I
these
love the
dudes
legs.
in big power armor with chainsaw swords, and they got these big old green orcs, and there's some bugs over there, and everyone calls these guys weebs, and then there's these spiky bitches over here, and
I love spiky bitches! Do you guys think this inspired Fallout? At least a little bit? Like the power armor and all the bugs and everything? No.
I don't get it. I don't understand. Where do I start? Well, this video is particularly for you, or for those of you who have a little bit of knowledge, but you're kind of curious about each of the different races and factions in Warhammer. So
I am not a
overall, the Warhammer universe is vast when it comes to lore and background, and each different faction is so different with the things that they believe in, and
That
some are
map, though?
human, some are transhuman, like where they all have all these crazy ass electronics on them. You've got aliens and you've got the chaos factions, and there's so much to entail that I decided to embark on this project
Look
to
at
tell
that.
you
What is
what each and every
that?
single one of them is about,
That's
and what the
huge.
Warhammer universe is about as well, to give at least a little bit of an intro to this
Are those planets?
extremely bloated but very, very
Space map! What the heck? You got planets? Warp storms? That's huge! Does every single planet have lore? It's the galaxy? Oh my gosh!
enjoyable
That's
world
massive.
that I and many others partake in. So, I will be explaining every single faction in the Warhammer 40k
Oh,
universe,
the faction
at least
icons are
all
kinda
the factions
cool.
you can play as, and some smaller factions here and there. I will not be discussing absolutely everything in it because that is a little bit much, and I'm not going to go too mega deep into the lore. I'm going to give you a pretty solid overview of each of the different factions and have you learn a little bit about them, and we'll discuss a little bit of the tabletop as well in case you are curious about that. But for this
Oh.
episode entirely,
I
we
do
are
like my
discussing
tabletop.
the Imperium of Man because that takes up a fat chunk of Warhammer lore.
Oh, boo-hoo.
What is Warhammer
The editing on
40,000?
this is so
Well, the
good.
40,000 starts off is the year 40,000, the 41st
Wow.
millennium. That's where it takes place, is in the year 40,000,
Is this a computer?
41,000 AD. You're already more knowledgeable. Let me read you a quote, first of many quotes in this
Spaceship.
video. It is the 41st millennium. For more than 100 years, the Emperor has sat immobile on the golden throne of Earth. He is the master of mankind by the will of the gods, and master of 1,000,000 worlds by the might of his inexhaustible armies. He is a rotting carcass, writhing invisibly with power from the dark age of technology. He is the carrion lord of the Imperium, for whom 1,000 souls are sacrificed every day so that he may never truly die. To be a man
worship a
in such
lich.
times is to be amongst untold billions. It is to live in the cruelest and most bloody regime imaginable. These are the tales of those times. Forget the power of technology and science, for so much has been forgotten, never to be relearned. Forget the promise of progress and understanding, for in the grim, dark future, there is only war. There is no peace amongst the stars, only an eternity of carnage and slaughter, and the laughter of thirsting gods.
So they're just worshipping a dead body?
Yes, precisely.
I guess we're gonna find out.
Everything blows. And it blows
Promise?
fucking hard.
Oh my
Warhammer is
gosh.
probably the most dark and depressing universes ever in fiction.
Pretty
or at least
though.
like top 3. Everything is so absurdly horrible, destructive, or overpowered
dead.
that it all kind of
Slightly
ends up
alive.
canceling itself out. It's like
Ah.
Dota. War rages across the galaxy. Interstellar travel is only possible due to sacrificing 1,000 souls a day to a rotting carcass of a man.
That is that's the guy that's slightly alive. That's slightly alive? That doesn't look comfortable. Does he want to be alive? Should he be alive? Does he want to be? He probably wants to. Yes, he does. Emperor's children are a nightmare. This guy has kids from before he was dead, right? He's in no condition to complain. He's in a lot of pain. Put him out of his misery! That looks painful!
Who you believe to be your god.
Oh,
Demonic
sorry,
gods,
Grandpa.
just demons tear open the fabric of reality
Ew.
on a whim.
Wait.
Who you believe to be your god. Demonic gods.
Wait, that's not YouTube safe. You can't just.
I wanna die in the ring, I want some bracelets.
Demons tear open the
Can't
fabric of reality on a whim. Other xenos or even other humans end up killing each other in untold billions across the
Trying to be
galaxy.
hentai.
It is
Oh
a
my
time of
gosh.
unending war, slaughter, and a bloodbath amongst everybody. Planets are deemed unrecoverable and are completely destroyed on a whim.
Boom.
Everything sucks. But that's like the charm of it. See, everything in Warhammer is evil. But being evil is kind of fun. Like, humanity, in its own right, is a
Brittany, are you okay?
xenophobic, prejudice, and religious zealot group that kill each other just as much as they kill all of their enemies. And they're like mid to high tier evil on the evil scale.
Wait a minute. My roles, that guy, Tau players. My roles being at the top is so very tabletop coded. I love that.
Of Warhammer, nobody is good. No matter
Guess it
who
depends on
you
the
are,
food.
everyone is
Suppose
some
so.
flavor, some color of evil. Whoever you pick, you are going to be the bad guy.
They
But
brought
that's the
pickles.
fun of it. Because being the bad guy is badass. Villains are cool. They look cool, they got cool outfits, they got cool
Oh!
weapons, they got cool armies. Villains are cool,
That
man.
guy got an
And
angel
when
wing. I
everyone
want
is a
one.
villain, everyone is pretty cool. That's what makes this so charming, is that everyone can be the bad guy. So let's start off talking about the main bad guy, quote unquote, the Imperium of Man. The Imperium of Man is the main empire of the human race. All of humanity is under this one flag called the Imperium. And about 10,000 years ago, there was a man. He was the emperor of mankind, a 10-foot
Okay, but he kind of pretty though. He's awful. Okay, well a lot of the hottest people are awful, okay? You guys are, okay. Guys, so far, I'm just seeing more reasons why he's cool.
created a bunch of sons known as the Primarchs. He created 18 Primarchs. These Primarchs are basically like little versions of
The
the Emperor.
armor
Not all of
is
them are
so
ciphers, but a lot of them
cool.
are very, very powerful, and they lead
the
his
sword.
special Space Marine legions. Then this big clusterfuck happened called the Horus Heresy, where the Emperor's favorite son, the Primarch, Horus, joining Chaos. And now if you want to know what Chaos is, remember what I mentioned earlier? The warp, that Immaterium, the hellish place? In there relies
are dark
the
elves in
4
Warhammer
Chaos
40K?
gods. Imagine like Satan.
Whoa! Oh, those look. Oh, I like her. She's pretty. They all kind of look a little gross, but that adds to their charm, I think. She was fucked into existence? Well, I mean, that's not such a bad thing. I like them a lot. They do look very fishy. Ah, that's so cool! I love a gender soup god! They're very pretty! Their siblings are really cool, too. I like the designs. Big fan of very weird-looking gods. Upper right god got a mouth on his crotch. Oh, sir! Not the crotch mouth!
Satan and 3 other Satans. The warp being
3
kind
other
of evil, those
Satans?
Chaos gods, that's the reason. And so those Chaos gods manipulated
They're
Horus,
cool.
and then Horus helped manipulate all 8 other
Dude, the art! The
Primarchs
art!
to lead this giant coup directly on the Emperor on Earth. And they fucked up
Whoa, wait.
shit.
Wait. What the? Dude is... Okay, Emperor dude is fine. I'm assuming that's one of his sons that looks dead.
After this huge civil war,
Like the
Horus
art.
died, but not before brutally wounding the Emperor. And right at the end
The
of his
puppy.
life, they put the Emperor on this large golden throne on Earth, in which he is now alive, just barely, but slowly rotting away, powering something called the Astronomicon, so long as he stays alive, and is fed 1,000 people a day. The Astronomicon is like the
How did they
North
get these
Star.
people?
If you want to do interstellar travel in 40K, you need to pass through that demonic warp I mentioned.
By force, probably. But if they kidnap 1,000 people a day, if they take 1,000 people a day, they throw them into the, you know, the people grinder, the soul grinder, their population numbers have got to be going down, right? They have 1 million plus worlds. Okay. Oh, they kidnap them from the million planets in the Empire. Okay. Oh, okay. Not just anyone, it's psychers. Wait, but then that makes it even worse. They're throwing 1,000 psychers. Then how are the psychers not all gone?
Mentioned earlier, but how do you know where you're going? Well, the Emperor is there putting a nice little navigator right there.
buddy.
He helps navigate you to know where you're going. If you want to go from Earth to some crazy solar system across the way, you need to go through that warp, and then you need to know where you're going, go through there, and pop your way out. It's like
Emperor's
doing
Triangle?
nether travel in Minecraft, so you can shorten the distance between going to areas. So long as the Emperor is alive and being fed 1,000 people a day to stay alive, you can do that. The moment he dies, interstellar travel's gone for all of humanity. You're so boned. Now, since the Horus Heresy
Okay, no wonder they
10,000
don't
years
do it.
ago, the Imperium has fallen from grace substantially. All technology has started to dwindle.
Oh, but those outfits, though. That looks so good.
And die. There is now giant fundamental religious extremists that now believe the Emperor of Mankind was a deity, a true living god, which is probably the last thing the Emperor would have wanted to be remembered for. So now you have this thing called the Ecclesiarchy, which is this giant church entirely devoted to spreading the good word of the Emperor. He is now the Holy Emperor
So much
God,
pretty art.
the God Emperor of mankind, and all of the Imperium has taken up worshiping him to the fullest extent and killing anything that isn't humanity in his name.
I
The
cannot stop
Imperium
gushing
has
over the
this
editing.
futuristic gothic tone to it and a hefty religious zealotry to them. If you think anything against the Emperor, that's heresy and you deserve to die. That is called being a heretic.
Okay.
Heretics die in 40K. There is no such thing as freedom of religion. There is no such thing as freedom of speech.
You know
so
what?
long
Maybe
as
it's a good
you
thing I didn't
are
pause on
against
that
the
picture.
Emperor.
What
There is
the
no such
heck was
thing as
that?
any kind of tolerance. Everyone is a religious zealot. Some more than others.
Especially this
But
guy.
no matter what, you're preaching that good word. So right now, everyone in humanity is trying to expand their empire across the stars. If you are a heretic, someone who doesn't believe in the Emperor, you are deserving of death. If you believe in the Chaos Gods, you are also a heretic and you deserve death. If you are an alien race of any kind, you are a filthy xenos and you deserve death as well. So long as the murder continues and humanity expands, the Imperium of Man is very, very happy.
Can you sacrifice aliens? No, there's not. To the Emperor, no. Oh. Oh, has to be human. Oh. Okay. Do aliens have souls? Is asking that heresy? Nope, I said nothing.
However, the largest fighting force of this Imperium is my personal favorite faction, and the first faction we will discuss, the Astra Militarum, or also known as the Imperial Guard.
Shit now, man! You finished? That's it, man. Game over, man.
The Imperial Guard is the main fighting force
Look
of
at the
the
angel!
Imperium. And in a world of horrifying creatures, galactic monstrosities, the literal demons themselves breaking through the fabric of time to kill you, the Imperial Guard are untold billions of regular men and women wearing modern day like flak armor with a laser rifle. This is the
love
humble
Ricky
las gun, the
changing his
main weapon
lens.
of the Imperial Guard. It fires superheated plasma lasers at an extremely fast fire rate. It is reliable, never jams. It can blow off limbs, giant holes in concrete, It is overall an extremely devastating weapon in modern day. It is one of the weakest in the 40K universe.
That's amazing! The boys! The boys!
Yeah, a laser rifle that never jams, it could blow off limbs, one of the weakest weapons. That's the world we're in right now. But who cares?
So funny.
Because the Imperial Guard has, in each battle, 500,000 of these men and women, 30,000 large armored tanks, 10,000 artillery batteries. The Imperial Guard wins through sheer numbers and firepower.
Wait. So they are the white decks in Magic the Gathering, right? They're token creatures. Those are my favorite. Oh, I love those. Cannon fodder. Yay! We love throwing cannon fodder at big bosses.
They kind of have this World War I, World War II style aesthetic with legions of guardsmen as well as high company commanders and generals on the field along with them and multiple kinds of troops. A normal Imperial Guard battle starts off long lines of artillery cracking the crust of the planet underneath the enemy's feet. And as this barrage continues, hundreds of thousands of guardsmen, a sea of guardsmen surges forward, firing and charging at everything possible while the planet rumbles as tanks roll up behind them. Ships block out the sun and tanks block out the dirt with the steps and hoofprints of millions of guardsmen. It is through numbers and sheer sundering firepower. They are the first and last line of defense for the Imperium and make up a huge bulk of the battles. The Imperial Guard is also made up of tons of different kinds of regiments. The Catachin jungle fighters live in a death world that's more hospitable than almost any firefight they'll ever get into.
They come in
So they
flavors.
just have this steroid-looking, giant knife, Rambo Predator-looking sons of bitches where nothing is anywhere near as scary as a simple knight on their home planet. You have the Valhallan Winter Soldiers who haven't felt their toes in 300 years, the Mordian
R.I.P.
Iron
toes.
Guard
They
who
should
are
get
more
hoofs.
interested in making their shoes shine than actually fighting a battle. And then, of course, the big one, the Cadians from Cadia. The biggest export of guardsmen in the entirety of the Imperium. You will fire your first gun at 5. You will disassemble and reassemble it at 10. You will have pounding artillery drills day in and day out at 15. And you'll fight your first swarm at 6.
What's that? Oh, that looks so cool. Amazing. That's a Tyranid. They look so cool. Big bug. Kill it. No, it's friend-shaped. Give it a hug. Invite it for tea. The game.
The Angels of Death are up next. Space Marines are genetically engineered super soldiers and superhumans. They're given extra organs, their skin tissue is toughened, their bones are stronger, they're taller than the average person.
They're like
pretty
Halo.
massive people. And these are the specialized super soldiers that carry out a lot of the more specific tasks for the Imperium. And there's tons of legions of them. In fact, there's one per
They're like Spartans.
Primarch.
Maybe I'll show
Each
more.
Primarch, the Emperor's son, as I mentioned before,
There's a blue one.
oversees their legion of Space Marines. The genetic upgrade they get is based on the genes of said Primarch. It's something called a gene seed. That's what brings them up to this like superhuman level. As stated, each Primarch has their own legion. Robot Girly Man has the Ultramarines. Jagatai Khan has the White Scars. Rogel Dorn has the Imperial Fists. Corvus Corax has the Raven Guard. And there's a whole bunch of other sides.
Are they color-coded? I mean, that would kind of make sense. They're color-coded by chapter. Okay.
Sections that are also extremely interesting and have a little bit more of a twist on the average Space Marines, which we will discuss in a bit. Humorously enough, I don't have a whole lot to say about Space Marines. They're superhumanly fast. In fact, it's been said that nothing that large should move that quick.
It's kind of surprising that he's not going to go into the all the different factions of them. But I guess it makes sense because that would probably be a whole other video all on its own type deal.
These men in power armor moving at blazing fast speeds, their reflexes are faster, their skin is tougher. They are overall just extremely powerful soldiers. In fact, where they differ comes down to which Space Marine Legion we're talking about. For instance, the Ultramarines done by Robot Gilliman are the main blue boys. Strong in almost every way, the jack of all trades kind of group that are a little bit too strong, and that's a lore problem, but the White Scars by Jagatai Khan are all about speed freaks, go fast. We're talking attack bikes, we're talking land speeders. You want to go in quick, you want to hit them hard, you want them to be swarming around like buzzflies. Buzzsaws. With the speed of buzzsaws. Fuck you, Pale King. Salamanders love fire. Fire in the forge, fire in battle. Flamers, melta-guns, multi-meltas. Just so long as something can be burning, that's big. And they're also actually some of the nicest of the Space Marines. A lot of Space Marines have this kind of like holier-than-thou thing because of their genetic strength. However, the Salamanders tend to put human lives above the lives of themselves, which is actually rather rare. They're also all black, but not like just regular black, like 2 a.m. line at a White Castle black. Like they have a charcoal, dark, ashy exterior and blazing red eyes. Apparently something about living on their home planet of Nocturne, which I don't know if that makes much sense, but who cares? This is like fantasy land anyway. Overall, Salamanders are actually one of my personal favorite legions because they're just really cool. They're fun to play as because of all their flamer weapons, and they have a nice, like, more heartwarming lore as opposed to being super evil like everyone else is.
Wait, I kind of like that too, actually. Oh, that's really sweet. Oh. I like a good guy.
God, we're not even a quarter of the way through the Space Marine Legions. Blood Angels, the genetic defect to make them want to drink blood and go crazy, called the Red Thirst. They have Cupid wings and stuff, which is a little bit strange, and they are all super gay for Sanguinius. Dark Angels are old school knights and inner circle theme, and...
Are you a heretic?
Me? No, never. Once in a blue moon, I know.
Death Watch.
Wait, I was gonna say that. Wait, what was that? What was that? Wait, what? Oh.
Black Templars, for the people who, if you haven't prayed at least 3 times a day, you're gonna start praying out that airlock. And I'm sure there's some other chapters I may have missed as well, like Crimson Fists and stuff, but those are the main ones right here. It's time we start praying to our new god, the 2011 Honda Civic.
So is it any wonder people are afraid of technology?
Kinda looks like Victor from League of Legends, especially before the rework.
Technology! The Adeptus Mechanicus. The Adeptus Mechanicus are a technophile cult on Mars. Now, these people are a little bit weird because they don't actually really believe in the Emperor of Mankind. And you might think, oh, whoa, Berkey, that sounds like some heresy. A little bit. They believe in the Emperor, they believe in his power, but they don't pray to him. They pray to something called the Omnissiah. And the Omnissiah is this kind of machine god that they believe permeates in all machines. And if you think, well, wait a minute, they believe in a different god as well? That sounds like super heresy. Well, yes-ish, but they also make all your guns.
Count?
And they make all your tanks.
Oh.
And they make everything that you have.
It doesn't count because
so you
capitalism?
Can't really tell them to fuck off. Because you're not gonna win nothing if you don't got stuff to shoot people with. See, their Omnissiah at least makes sense from their standpoint. They believe it to be a deity that permeates through all machines. Your Honda Civic, your standard bolt gun, your Dune Strider Walker, your giant mechs, your huge ships. The Omnissiah is present through all.
That's really cool. I like that.
And the only reason your stuff works is because the machine's spirit in it says it works. If you want your gun to work, your tank to run, you must pray to it. And I mean full stop. You need to start chanting in high Gothic. You need to burn incense. You need to sit on your knees and pray to that car. You need to rub oil on your robes, and you need to go, ahomina, homina, 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 homina. Full stop. If you want your damn thing to work, if you want your gun to fire, you need to do that. They
No
are
wonder my PC's broken.
very bizarre, and they actually have a bit of a point because it's obviously working. And if you look at them, I don't know how that works. So they obviously know something about what they're doing. Now, if you want to talk about faith, though,
Okay.
Let's talk about the Sisters of Battle.
Oh, these are the ones I've heard about.
for an eagle in Lego City.
The Sisters of Battle of the Adeptus Sororitas, if that's how I pronounce it correctly, is an all-female group of battle sisters going through the ecclesiarchy section of the Imperium. The ecclesiarchy is, of course, the church. This is, imagine a private army of the church, which is scary. And it is. The sisters are an extremely zealous force, and they take.
I like that Bricky just put a blackout skirt on for his legs in this section. These are the guys that I see people simping over all the time.
Full extreme.
I mean, well,
they
kind of.
believe
He's a
in
bit of a
three
corpse.
main things: faith, martyrdom, and fire. Through the bolter, the flamer, and the melta, the Sisters of Battle are extremely potent at taking out chaos and heretics. Mainly heretics, because as they are a fighting section of the ecclesiarchy church, that's the big thing they want to kill. Any form of heretic will face the Emperor's justice through those three main weapons, the bolter, the flamer, and the melta, and they will do so with extreme prejudice. Literally. They are the closest things we have to nuns in space. And I'm talking hardcore nuns. They carry holy fire on their backs. They have holy books and sigils all across their armor. Their main battle tank is a fucking pipe organ missile launcher. They have small babies that they have removed their brain capacity to make them little servant cherubs to fly around and give them ammunition and shit. They drop churches from low orbit as mini drop pods onto battles. They drop churches into battles and they blare
the church
war
not
hymns and
fall
holy
apart
music
when it hits
from
the
their
ground?
frigates in low atmosphere and shower holy water across the battlefield. These are the people you are dealing with, and they're fucking awesome. And
really
speaking of burning demons,
I can see!
I can fight!
the Grey Knights are the first army I actually collected back in 7th edition. The Grey Knights are a super secretive and much more old school look at power armored knights.
Are they not just the same thing as the Army of Suns? They're an in-between custodes and space marines? Oh, okay,
Except they are all psychers. All of them have that crazy space magic magician shit. For every 100,000 guardsmen, there's one Grey Knight. For every 10,000 Sisters of Battle, there's one Grey Knight. For every 1,000 Space Marines, there's one Grey Knight. Grey Knights are the strongest of the strong, both in mental will and absolute just strength. These are Space Marines that are all high-level psychers, all of them able to specifically do one goal, and that is kill demons. The Emperor believed that the demons of chaos were the #1 threat to the Imperium, and he probably is right. However, this group is entirely based on doing that through a myriad of tactics. Coming from the planet, or I guess the moon, of Titan in the Sol system, the Grey Knights are thrown through extremely rigorous training and are as clear of mind and soul as they possibly can be.
I like the sword. Look at that sword. It's all glowy. Look at that.
The only issue is that Grey Knights have a scorched earth policy, more ways than one. If they're fighting demons, demons corrupt and make people crazy. So if I'm a guardsman and I'm fighting demons, and the
okay.
Grey Knights arrive and they kill all the demons, I'm a risk. And so guess who's not making it out of there? Now if you want to be holier and big, let's talk Imperial Knights.
Oh Lord, he coming!
Do you like gigantic walkers the size of homes?
No.
Or medium-sized buildings?
No.
Do you want to kill heretics, but you want to kill like 40 of them?
I wanna
per
go with the
turn?
demons.
Do you want a gigantic old-school knight noble house
Nope.
style of walkers with
Nope.
giant chainsaw arms? Then you got
Nope.
Imperial Knights. Imperial
Oh.
Knights, it's not a whole lot to talk about them because they're just gigantic walkers, but they have this
Look at those
old school,
fingies.
like, house feel to them. Like, literally, like, they're houses. Each Imperial Knight comes from a house, and each of them act in their own special way. These behemoth of walkers also destroy almost everything in their path,
What are those cinematics?
killing full swaths of squads in
No,
a couple shots,
not the
stepping on
bug!
legions of troops. Like, these things do not mess around, and they look so cool. Imperial Knights and Chaos Knights, actually, for that matter, don't have a whole lot to discuss. They're just super big, heavy walkers, and they look different depending on your house or Chaos God you.
That's an elf robot. That looked like a bug.
And overall, these things are just really cool if you want
look
to
at that
murder
cool
everything
demon.
in your path. They're the big, scary, big unit of Warhammer, and if you want to collect them, go to town. They make for a great painting project too. Getting more back down to
Oh,
earth.
geez,
Let's
those
talk something
minis
about
are
a
huge.
little bit different, a little more gold. If guardsmen
oh.
are regular soldiers, Space Marines are super soldiers, Grey Knights are super soldiers, the Adeptus Custodes are super soldiers cubed.
So I see the power scaling is healthy.
They are our final brand of Space Marines, but these ones are super special.
Pretty
Okay,
man.
if a guardsman is 6 foot, a Space Marine is 7 feet, a custodian is 8 feet. These are the giant defenders of Holy Terra, which is also Earth. Earth is Terra, Terra themselves. These are the people that literally guard the Emperor's throne room, hence Custodes. These boys protect the Emperor's throne room at all times and are literally like handcrafted people. They're not humans brought up by a gene seer or something. These are all handcrafted super soldiers. I think from a tube. These behemoth of men are like 8 feet, 8.5 feet tall, and functionally immortal. They stand still,
Woo!
spear in hand, for hundreds of years without the need to sleep and barely even the need to eat, watching over the throne room and
The power
every other
scaling.
area. These custodians put Space Marines to shame. If you liked your super soldiers, these are your super mega soldiers. One of these men can take on probably 3 Space Marines and most likely win. But if we're talking about blanks, let's talk assassins. It's been a long video. We're about to round it out. We got this and one more human thing, and then we're done. The assassins,
Games
though, the
Workshop.
Officio Assassinorum, oh boy, these people are deadly. Yeah, they're called assassins. They should be, but oh man, these people will mess you up. So these are from the Officio Assassinorum, a very special organization, and they are handpicked by the Grand Master of the Officio Assassinorum from the what was it called? Scola Progenium.
Look at that. The cities are so cool. I'm such a big fan of art that shows really, really cool places.
It's basically an orphan school. Your parents got murdered by demons or something. You get sent to this and you get trained to be whatever.
You're Batman.
Tempestus Drop Troop, an Inquisitor, maybe even.
Oh, that's cool.
Maybe you get a blank gene and you get thrown into the Sisters of Silence, or sometimes you just disappear. When you are taken, however, you go to one of 4 temples because the Assassinorum works in the temple style of things. These temples are the Vindicare, Caluxus, Calidus, and Eversort. I'm far away. I've been sitting here for 3 weeks. Poof! The Vindicare Temple is the main sniper-based temple. Gigantic sniper rifles for all these assassins. Their whole point is to be able to be in a spot and sit there, eye and scope, for weeks, waiting for their perfect target, taking people out from literal miles away. The Calidus Temple, however, is a lot more about shape-shifting and deviant art. It's mostly a female-based one, or at least it seems to be, and this allows a lot of body augmentation for certain individuals to be able to kind of transmorph themselves and infiltrate areas that are problems. These assassins will end up taking missions that take them years, 2-3 years, to infiltrate a heretical group and slowly work their way up just to get enough time to put a bullet into the main target's head and then escape unharmed, or become the main target and sabotage it from within. These are all completely about deception, mind tricks, polymorphing, and everything in between. And lots of drawings. The Eversor Temple.
Of course.
Just kind of disturbing one. The Eversor Temple is about when you don't want anything to come back alive, friend or foe. You want it all dead. And Eversor is psychogenically conditioned with just psychotherapy and psychological torture to only feel violence, hatred, and anger. It does the Clockwork Orange style of thing of just making you forced to watch never-ending pain and misery and psycho conditioning, I guess is the term. And then they pump you full of tons of psychedelic drugs and they cryo-freeze.
Okay, is that like skull helmet? It is a helmet. Okay, good.
Finally, there's the most bizarre temple, the Caluxus Temple. The Caluxus assassins are feared even among the other temples. So that blank gene, the people will go to the Caluxus Temple with this as well. And this is where they can harness that to be massively anti-psyker or even just anti-regular people. They are seen with extreme fear and distrust
like
among many people. They are described by the Eldar by quote as being pure evil. Imagine that uncomfortable feeling from that blank gene I mentioned, and then imagine them being taught and given equipment to amplify it by 100. If normally regular people feel uncomfortable, now they are basically akin to being a siren wailing directly in your ear. And if you're a psyker, oh no. The sheer presence of a Caluxus assassin is enough for you to tear your skin off. You will rather gouge your eyes out and rip your nails off than even being near this person. Let's talk about the last human faction we can round this video out before we do part 2. The Inquisition.
This is the one I hear about
We have a lot to talk about with them.
On the subject of heresy!
Oh boy.
I think I hear about them a lot.
Where do I even begin with the Inquisition?
I like the armor.
Take every secret police you can think of. The KGB, the Gestapo, the CIA, FBI, any of these kinds of people.
Images not
and then
found.
Mark it up by about 10.
Got the Salt Spire
and
hat.
give them the most power in the entire Imperium.
Nice. I know,
you know what?
For the lurk.
How about this? This right here. It's not just a quote. This is the imperial motto, the motto of the Inquisition. I apologize for my bad pronunciation. Innocentia nihil probat. Innocence proves nothing. The most powerful organization in the Imperium, the secret police, their number one motto is innocence proves nothing. The Inquisition goes around like the secret police or like detectives to find issues in the Imperium. And they have different ordos depending on which one we're talking about. The Ordo Hereticus, the Ordo Xenos, the Ordo Malleus, for instance, and a whole bunch of other ones. Hereticus is obvious, they deal with heretics. Xenos tries to find alien threats, and Malleus is demons. They all have different specializations in what they're trying to go for as this Inquisitor. And that's what they're called, Inquisitors. Each of them, as an Inquisitor, has their own free reign to do as they wish. They may have a ship and a crew, and they go out to find problems and interrogate people a lot. They are above the law in every department over Space Marines. Now, the Space Marines might argue against them and stuff, and there might be a lot of blowback, but technically they are above them as Inquisitors. They are looking to investigate and figure out coups and cults and demonic incursions and possible Xenos issues like gene stealers or a new threat coming into an area. They're about learning that stuff and actually doing detective work. And memes aside, they're pretty good at it. The Inquisition having all of this power does make them a little bit power hungry and frantic sometimes. And yes, it is still a bad thing, but most of them are pretty good at their job. And they spend a lot of time being very diligent to make sure that all of these leads they follow are proper and correct. They're basically space detectives.
Look at their armor! Their armor looks so good! I love all the designs in this so far. Ah!
Exterminatus is
so
deeming
good.
a planet unfit to be saved. I deem that this planet is demon infested and taking it back will cost too many resources and is not worth it. I have now committed exterminatus on this planet. I will now sign the death warrant of an entire Imperium planet as it is unfit to take and better to be destroyed than allow the enemy to hold it. This can mean saturation bombardment, this can mean cracking the planet's core and breaking it apart. Doesn't matter, render this planet inhospitable to all life. Yes, the innocents proves nothing people are the only people who can choose this planet must die in its entirety.
Oh.
Yeah, you're playing the villain. Now it is memed a lot, but most Inquisitors are very rare to do Exterminatus. Exterminatus is a very crazy thing. There's only so many worlds that you don't want to destroy all of them. Overall, the Inquisition makes for a lot of the best storytelling as well, because it's a little bit hard to talk about a big story of a whole bunch of Space Marines killing something, right? It's just a big battle story. It's not as interesting. Having that intrigue and that moral dilemma that an Inquisitor has makes for a lot better media.
They look so good. Look at the angel. They're so pretty.
And honestly, the more people do it, I think is better, because then it adds a little more humanity to the Warhammer horrible grimdarkness. And wow, we just finished the humans, all right? Come back for part 2 when we talk about Chaos and Xenos, because